Alrighty, well, first one of these of the season, even though it is only preseason, but the Minnesota Wild win in a shootout by a final score of 3-2. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So yeah, I mean, the first period came, and well, we basically had our starting lineup out there because I'm pretty sure most of, if not all of the Iowa call-ups and stuff like that are back down in Iowa. And yeah, honestly, in the first few minutes, it was kind of like a feeling out process and stuff like that. And well, the scoring started off with a Marcus Foligno goal. And yeah, I mean, it was just one of those right in front of the net, greasy goals and stuff like that. But then, right after a Chicago power play, ironically enough, Nick Foligno scored for the Chicago Blackhawks, making it 1-1, seemingly after one. However, though, on a later on in the game, I believe second period, if I remember right. Regardless, basically right around the first, second period, I'm not 100% sure. Brock Faber tried to attempt a pass that was just an ill-advised pass, we'll just put it at that, and Taylor Hall screams down the ice, dipsy-doodle around, and scores, making it 2-1 going into the third. And, yeah, I mean, going into the third period, it was just, again, more of a feeling out process, this, that, and the other thing, and, well, with about 3 or 4 minutes to go in the game, new Minnesota Wild member Patrick Maroon. Boy, that still feels weird saying that, especially with all of his time in, well, Tampa, winning those 2 Stanley Cups, and of course him being a Blue as well, and a few other teams, Edmonton probably being most notable and stuff like that. But Patrick Maroon pots the game-tying goal that sends us into overtime. And yeah, the Wild had a few plays here and there and stuff like that, had a few opportunities. Chicago really never possessed the puck too much during the overtime period, but alas, we go to a shootout. And Matt Zuccarello ends up potting the only goal of the shootout, even though there were a couple times where it looked like Marc-Andre Fleury tried to Superman tomahawk a couple guys out of the ice, including Connor Bedard and Taylor Hall. Especially Taylor Hall. I mean, Taylor Hall, I don't know if it was just with the poke check and stuff like that, but Taylor Hall almost tried to fly into the crowd. Let's just put it that way. So, that was interesting to say the least. But, at the end of the day, the Minnesota Wild win in a shootout on the second to last game of preseason, which again, in the grand scheme of things, really doesn't mean a whole lot. But, let's just say, as a Wild fan, there are a few things that I'm noticing that are a little bit concerning. Primarily, well, if you've been around my channel for a couple years, you'll understand this phrase. Stay out of the box! Which, for whatever reason, both Minnesota and Chicago could not do tonight. Hoofmaron. Well, let's put it this way. There was even a fight between Dewar and, I believe, Ross Johnson. Well, it was one of the Johnson boys for Chicago. But Hartman had a really just dumb penalty on Connor Bedard, which, not gonna lie, as a Wild fan, and, hockey fan and stuff like that, I really hope Connor Bedard doesn't get these just really soft calls and stuff like that. I mean, granted, I hope he doesn't get, absolutely lambasted and, flattened like a pancake per se, but, all is fair in hockey, basically, If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. If it's just a good hit, it's a good hit. I mean, Again, it's preseason, so we really won't know what Bedard officially looks like until he actually hits the ice for the first game and he kind of gets acclimated and stuff like that. But yeah, he's going to be a beast. But it's just one of those things where, the NHL and sports like that always love to shove one or two players down everybody's throats. And it just seems to be Bedard's basically going to be that player for 2023, 2024, maybe even surpassing Connor McDavid. Which, if you know anything about Connor McDavid, is kind of surprising. But anyway. But yeah, I mean, like I say, the big thing is staying out of the penalty box. Which, I mean, for whatever reason, the Wild cannot seem to freaking do it. But, yeah, needless to say, that's going to be annoying, especially if that continues. Power play looked... I mean, the power play looked alright. There were a couple power plays there where we just looked out of sync and out of sorts and stuff like that. But, again, to be fair, preseason, I'm not too worried, but I did see enough there that made me, promised and, happy and just, sort of optimistic. However, though, Spurgeon being done after the first period kind of concerns me, especially because Spurgeon has had injury issues in the last couple of seasons. Granted, usually nothing too severe or anything, but it's just something to kind of keep an eye on, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they just shut him down because it's a preseason game, and it really didn't matter at the end of the day. But, yeah, I mean, all said and done, the first preseason game I could actually follow and watch on TV. I mean, yeah, sure, there's things that definitely have to be ironed out and worked out and stuff like that, but as we move along here, honestly, the lines look pretty decent, and, yeah, I mean, like I say, I really can't complain. I mean, pretty much what you saw on the ice is more than likely going to be, maybe with the exception of one or two players, what we're going to try it out on October 12th against the Florida Panthers at home. So, it'll be intriguing to see here, but, yeah, the Wild have one more preseason game on Saturday at 5 o'clock at XL Energy Center against the Dallas Stars. So, I mean, I don't know, I might watch a little bit of that and stuff like that, but again, the real McCoy begins on Thursday, a week from tonight, when I'm shooting this video. So, yeah, I mean, all in all, I'm not, too upset and stuff like that, but obviously there's definitely things that need to be cleaned up. Again, staying out of the penalty box is going to be crucial. Developing Rossi, obviously, I mean, he looked decent tonight. I mean, for the most part, he really didn't have a lot of opportunities per se. Addison running the power play 1 unit, I kind of like that, not going to lie. I mean, granted, to be fair, though, Addison ran the power play unit last year, at least when he was playing, but, Guerin and Evason really didn't like to play him, but again, I've only gone over that about 1,000 times at this point, so. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Fleury looked good. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much else to say there, honestly. I mean, it was just a tough, fought battle, and pretty much Minnesota Wild hockey to a T there. A 3-2 victory in a shootout or overtime. I mean, it's pretty much the Wild's brand at this point, Win them ugly, win them dirty, win them however you can win them. So, but yeah, I mean, just kind of wrapping this whole thing up. Power play unit needs to be worked on. Staying out of the penalty box is going to be a major thing. The lines are looking pretty decent. I mean, again, it's going to take a little bit for everyone to get used to each other again and just sort of get everything acclimated and ready to go here. But, yeah, I mean, we'll just kind of wait and see. A week from today, we open up against Florida at home. So, one more preseason game on Saturday. So, yeah, basically, until we meet again, this is Jacob. Have a good day.